Hey, this is Chris with Beer Town Austin. Welcome to another episode of Over a Pint. I'm here with Amy and Rob Cartwright, owners, founders, brewers of Independence Brewing Company here in Austin. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Yum. Yeah, we're all drinking the Stash right now. It's a personal favorite of mine. You want to tell me a little bit about it real quick?
Well, it's our IPA. It's brewed. It was something we came up originally with when the conference was here in town a couple of years ago, and it's just taken a little while for us to get this recipe to the full hoppiness that we're happy with. But our new brewer Justin came in and kind of tweaked up the recipe, made it a little more Pacific Northwest style. And I have to admit, it's our new favorite.
It's the bee's knees.
Looks like we're probably going to be having this hopefully coming out in bottles soon too. We've got some.
The label is almost done. We're waiting on TABC approval, so I'll be looking at it in store shelves definitely in the spring.
All right, fingers crossed.
Yeah, it's up to the man now.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I guess we're here today. We're in the brewery, by the way. Yeah. And we came out today because you guys are doing some exciting stuff. With your Jasperilla line. So, for people who don't know or aren't familiar, you want to give us like a quick rundown on kind of the history of it.
Well, Jasperilla is named after our trusty brewery dog Jasper, and it is a beer that we brewed every year and made it available in the 22-ounce bottles. It's a vintage beer, and from year to year the recipes stay the same, but the flavors that we get vary. After doing some experimentation this year, we decided to test out oak aging through a process of using oak spirals. So what we did is we did one batch of the regular 2008 Jasperilla, then we did a second, inside a keg we actually put two different versions of oak spirals, which gives an oak aging effect. One of the oaks was a light spiral, and then this one is a medium oak. And basically we let the Jasperilla age for about a year, and we're going to taste one of those. Based on the flavors that we liked, we decided on going ahead and doing a larger batch of this 2009 Jasperilla with the oak spirals in it, which we have fresh out of the fermenter, or fresh out of the aging tank.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try some.
Okay.
Let's start with the baseline. It's like one of the things we did in this little experiment is we kept 3 kegs actually. One keg was unadulterated.
All right.
We called that, the control keg. Then, and it was actually 6 weeks where after 6 weeks, that was when the full flavor of the wood was going to be extracted. So we tasted it at that point. And what we found was that the keg that had the medium toast spiral in it effectively disappeared.
The spiral disappeared, or the keg disappeared?
The keg did. It was so good that everyone liked it so much. And everyone was like, oh yes, this was clearly the best. Now this is with nothing. This is just regular Jasperilla as we've made it for the last 4 years. And this was 08.
One of the things that's always defined this beer is some of the wine aromas that you get. Also just a nice toasty caramel malt.
Almost pushing a red licorice flavor. Not quite there. It's not that fruity. It's got more of a maltiness than that. But
yeah, and it's good. Yeah, I like the Jasperilla. This is I think I put it kind of in the
vapors coming up the back of your throat.
something I think would be good, with food, kind of a foodier beer. Definitely.
I have to admit, Belgian waffles. Blueberry Belgian waffles was phenomenal. I never thought I'd be drinking this beer Sunday morning. But it turned out pretty good.
Okay, and what is this?
This is the light oaked Jasperilla.
This is a keg of 08. We had a little bit of the one that had a light oak spiral in it. Now there was no way to take the spiral out of the keg, so this has been on for almost a year now. So this is actually more wood aging than we would do. When we tried this beer, when we tried this beer after 6 weeks, we found it had a real raw wood character. So if you wanted a beer that was clearly tasted like wood, this was the spiral to use. I mean, it was perfect. Now we found over time with the kegs that had both spirals still left in it, when it got really old, the light actually tasted better, oddly enough. It kind of switched. People liked the medium at first and then liked the light later.
I think when I first tried them, I was a fan of the medium. I like them both, but I think I like the medium better at that point. But yeah, this one does. I can tell it's. I'm gonna talk. Which one is the mic? This one, yeah, it's definitely
raw wood. Yeah,
you get a lot of the smoothness from the oak.
Yes, yeah, you really taste the character. You know this is a wood aged beer.
We found that it mellowed out some of the alcohol strength of the Jasperla and brought in some vanilla notes that were really nice. And
it's got a. Sorry, go ahead. I was gonna say this one I get. I think to me it accentuates a little bit more of the foodie kind of wine, almost like a Cabernet.
I'm picking up a lot more of that winey character on the tongue now. I haven't had it in a little while. So
yeah, and I remember when I had it the first time.
It does taste a lot like a Cabernet. There's almost a red wine character to it.
Yeah, it's kind of.
It's amazing how it changes. It's constantly changing, especially as it sits longer and longer on that wood. So it's kind of an interesting experiment.
Yeah, definitely.
Watch.
That was one of the fun things for collectors of Jasperla from year to year is that we give them something, definitely from this year we'll have some differences between the two batches, so people that have hold on to their beer, it does get better with age. And I'd say
you can nerd out about it.
Yeah.
Okay, about 2 or 3 years.
So let's try the. And this one is the
just making Jasper
mixologist.
And go for a little stash.
This is an uncarbonated, straight out of the aging tank.
This is a little over halfway through its aging process on the wood, which means it's been in the tank about a month now.
This is with the medium.
Yeah,
this is
what
with the medium toast. This is the fresher. This is 09.
This is what you're gonna get. You're gonna get this.
This will be coming out in the beginning of January in bottles.
It's like you can,
without being whiskey, without tasting like whiskey.
Right. You can trace it back, to the Jasperla. You're drinking Jasperla, but the oak is really, giving it like this new kind of dynamic. And then like as you're saying, with the aging, it's I'm gonna have it with cheese this time. Maybe I'll have it with a steak or just have it on its own. Just drinking beer on its own is good. So anyway,
cheese and bread. I have to admit that's pretty good. Maybe a little mustard.
Well, look forward to the medium oak spiral being packaged, 22-ounce bottles. It'll hopefully hit store shelves by the end of January.
Okay. And we got to wrap it up real quick, but we don't have to taste it. I guess our cups are all full. But you guys also tell me real quick a little bit about what's the deal with Convict Hill, Oatmeal Stout go away, who's Convict Hill?
Well, one of the recipes that really got me going when I first got to UT, I really, really liked Young's Oatmeal Stout. I had homebrewed as a teenager before, but I kind of stopped doing it. And I really got hooked on that beer, and it was so expensive. I mean, it was like $10 a 6-pack back then. You had to go to like Whole Foods on Lamar to get it. And I just couldn't afford it, so I was like, dude, I just got to start making beer again. So in a real serious way, that style of beer got me back into brewing. And we decided, I was like, man, we need to have an oatmeal stout. Let's make like a really, it's an Imperial oatmeal stout by all rights. It's over 9%.
Right.
We're not really sure how strong it is because at the time we didn't own a hydrometer that went that high. And we didn't trust the homebrew hydrometer I had for 10 years, so...
This is the second year. This is the second year we've had it available on draft, so it's in some really great draft bars around Austin.
Yeah.
And actually in San Antonio.
Oh wow! All right, hey.
Cheers.
It's made a pretty good.
We are working on making that available in bottle as well, along with the Stash IPA. So.
Hey, look out! Some bottles. And so it's the name is the same. Like it's still the Oatmeal Stout.
Yeah.
Convict Hill Oatmeal
The bottle
Stout.
label, when we came up with when we knew we wanted to bottle it, we got to come up with a label name. So we're calling it Convict Hill, which is actually named off of a street in our neighborhood.
Okay.
So, and we did a little research on that street and story behind it. So that's what the label has on it. And
there's a nice little history with the state capitol about convicts are Irish, who is cheaper to pay to quarry stone? And as it would turn out, the Irish are actually
The Scottish.
cheaper. Or the Scottish. Was it Scottish?
Okay, all right. Well, thanks a lot, guys. Go out, drink some Independence. The Stash is great. Convict Hill is great. And soon enough, the Jesperlo and will also be great, but in your mouth in a bottle. All right, cheers. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.